Tracy was my partner for many years. He grew up on a farm in Oklahoma. After he graduated, he moved to California, to Santa Barbara, and then on to San Diego. And then in 2005, he visited Australia. He loved Australia. He decided to spend his 40th birthday in the penthouse apartment of the Sheraton on the Park, which was one of his favourite hotels. He spent his 50th birthday, sadly, here on the ward in St Vincent. Trace was diagnosed with MDS in 2013. I'd never heard of MDS before. It's myelodysplastic syndrome, where the bone marrow stops making healthy blood cells. He went through a year of chemo to try and stop the MDS taking hold, but unfortunately it was decided his only option was to have a bone marrow transplant. So in February 2015, he checked into St Vincent's Hospital, and some very generous stranger donated their bone marrow. From the moment Tracy checked in, he had the staff here all smiling and giggling. They grew to love him in a matter of hours. They looked after him so incredibly well. Nothing was too much of a problem. And I've seen what stress the staff go through. These doctors and nurses, they choose to work in this field for the pay they get and for the care they give. Yeah, they are my heroes. Tracy got something called graft versus host disease, which is when the new donor cells that are implanted in your body, they start producing blood cells, but those blood cells attack the body and see them as a foreign object. And unfortunately, yeah, he got a really severe case. He was eventually assigned one nurse on each shift dedicated to him because he lost his sight. He was bandaged up from head to toe like a mummy. His skin fell off. It was horrific. I'm really, really grateful and incredibly relieved to see the new ward has been planned with 16 private rooms. Going through the procedures and all the medications people have to take, it has some incredible and some incredibly nasty side effects, and you don't want to be on view to the world when you go through something like that. In the design of the new ward, they've taken everything into consideration, not just privacy and dignity, but from a medical standpoint, the facility is going to be top of its game. And I never realized how important the risk of infection was to patients going through a bone marrow transplant. But they go through such massive doses of chemo, they have no immune system left. So the slightest cough, the slightest cold can turn into a life-threatening situation. Patients going through a bone marrow transplant need as much care as possible. And St Vincent's does have the reputation of being the leading care specialist for bone marrow transplants in Australia. The whole ward is costing around $5.5 million, but each individual room is going to cost $300,000. My goal is to have a room named after Trace Ritchie. So that means I have to raise $300,000. Holy shit. Let's raise a $300,000 and have a room in the new St Vincent's Bone Marrow Transplant Ward named after Trace. Thank you.